Hi, I'm Sister Geralyn Schmidt, and you're listening to Musings from a Catholic Evangelist.
So last week, I was asked by our treasurer to go to the bank to do some banking for her because she's on the list of individuals who might be seriously affected by the virus. So I said sure, and even though it brought me great anxiety to go into a bank. So I went out, got the things I needed, I went out, and I completely forgot my hand sanitizer and some wipes. Completely blew that away, left it on the table before I left the house. Okay, get in the car, go to the bank, and I went around the front, and I got out of the car, and I saw on the front door that the lobby was closed because of the virus. Okay, that meant all the transactions were going to go through the window. So as I did that, I got on the line, and I was maybe the 10th one on the line. I kept on saying, Jesus, I trust you. Jesus, I trust in you. Jesus, I trust in you. And quite frankly, my anxiety was a bit high about this whole thing. And watching the cars around me, I was also determined not to add any added pollution to the environment. So I would turn the car off and waited for the transaction to finish, turned the car on, and moved forward. Now, mind you, my car hasn't been run for a week and a half at this point. And I did that 10 times. And as I got closer to the window, I realized that not only had I touched the button to get the vacuum tube up into the bank, but also I had to touch the vacuum tube when there's no hand sanitizer and no wipes. And my anxiety level was absolutely crazy. Well, I blessed myself as the person in front of me, and I was the next person, and I went to start the car, and my battery was dead. I got out of the car and said, could somebody push me? My battery's dead. So 2 guys got out of their car, and they pushed me off to the side. Fine. Meanwhile, I called the sisters that I lived with to come and to bring a car with them because I had jumper cables and I knew how to jump my car. So they did. And as I was waiting, a teller from the bank came in, with a mask and gloves, all gowned up, and said, do you want me to do your banking transaction? And I went, sure. And the sister came, and I jumped the car. Meanwhile, there were people, at least a dozen people, who stopped and said, do you need help? In the midst of all this craziness, people were willing. Several of them went out of their way, turned around, saw me in need, because I was standing by a quite large road with jumper cables and the hood up. As I was going away from the bank, growling over the idiocy of a dead battery, I heard my beloved said to me, I was protecting you from touching the button and the canister. And with that, I began to cry. God is amazing. God is absolutely amazing. He takes the most horrid thing and can make it into beauty. He takes his agony on the cross and gives it a beauty for us, that's salvation. That's why that image is behind me. In addition to that, I came across a poem written by an Irish woman in the middle of a pandemic in Ireland, a cholera pandemic in Ireland, back in 1869. Her name is Kitty O'Meara, and this poem is very much out there in the internet. Let me read it to you. And the people stayed home and read books and listened and rested and exercised and made art and played and learned new ways of being and stopped and listened deeper. Someone meditated, someone prayed, someone danced, someone met their shadow, and people began to think differently, and people healed. And in the absence of people who lived in ignorant ways, dangerous, meaningless, and heartless, even the earth began to heal. And when the danger ended, and people found each other, grieved for the dead, and they made new choices, and dreamed new visions, and created new ways of life, and healed the earth completely, just as they were healed themselves. So as we find ourselves in the midst of Holy Week, looking toward Easter and the Triduum and the great gift of salvation, allow this time to be a moment of grace to understand what that sacrifice that Jesus did for us and the great gift of salvation and the sacraments and the beauty of the church. Know that I pray for you in a very special way. God bless you.
You're listening to Musings from a Catholic Evangelist, and I'm Sister Geralyn.